In the shadowed secrets of history, within the walls of the Benedictine monastery of Podlažice, there existed a haunting tale, whispered among monks and villagers alike. It was a tale of a monk whose name had been erased by time itself, a monk whose sins led him to make a pact that would forever haunt the pages of history in the 13th century. According to one version of a legend, already recorded in the Middle Ages, the monk known as Herman the Recluse had violated his sacred monastic vows. The gravity of his transgressions was such that the punishment decreed was severe. He was to be walled up alive within the monastery's cold, dark, and unforgiving stone walls. It was an ancient and gruesome penalty, reserved for the gravest of offences. Yet all you could hear was his nails and screams while pleading in darkness. In a desperate attempt to avoid this fate, he vowed to craft a book, a manuscript of unparalleled grandeur that would glorify the monastery for ages to come. A book that would encompass the entirety of human knowledge, a feat that would require a lifetime to complete. Yet, he promised to create it in a single night. As the clock struck midnight, despair clung to his soul like a shroud. As the monk stood on the precipice of doom, facing the grim prospect of entombment, his heart pounded with terror. He knew not the warmth of mercy nor the compassion of his brethren, but the loss of his life as his soul faded into a pool of despair, as a man who falls through glass looking up to the heavens into a pool of doom and fire. And so he plunged into the abyss, swallowed by the darkness, his fate sealed by the desperate vow. All hope seemed lost, save for one desperate plea that whispered through his quivering lips, a pact with the abyss. But Herman, his heart heavy with guilt and dread, had a desperate yearning to evade the terrible fate that loomed over him. In his darkest hour he fell to his knees and beseeched the abyss itself, calling upon the name he opposed, contrary to his belief, evil itself, Lucifer, the embodiment of darkness and deceit, to come to his aid. As darkness and despair filled the monk's soul, drawn by the monk's desperate invocation, emerged from the shadows, his presence an uncanny blend of malevolence and otherworldly allure with an uncanny smile. It was the devil, as Lucifer himself, drawn by the monk's agony, answered his sinister plea supplication. The devil accepted the monk's offer with a chilling smile and cold yet dry breeze. With every step the devil took toward the monk that pierced the soul. And with every slow, subtle step he heard a subtle whisper saying, "Your soul." It was then, in that unholy moment, that Herman struck a pact with the devil to avoid his fate, a pact that would forever mar his soul and etch his name into the history of diabolic folklore. With trembling hands and a quivering heart, Herman set to work. His quill moved with supernatural speed, feverishly transcribing texts that encompassed the breadth of human wisdom and darkness. Forbidden incantations, tales of infernal creatures, and esoteric knowledge flowed from his hand like blood from an open wound. Tears mixed with blood from what began to seem like the mysteries of life itself, unraveling before his eyes. As the day got closer, the whispering and tears and screams slowly stopped until silence filled the walls where Herman was, as the monks heard silence and prayed for Herman. The morning sun bathed the monastery in an eerie light, as the monks discovered something both horrifying and fascinating to them, for they knew not of the dark bargain struck to bring it into existence. For all that was left was a man without emotions, sitting at a table holding a quill. Yet upon closer inspection they realized that Herman was no longer the same monk they once knew, since he was covered in blood and also had missing nails without an expression. Herman's work was done. He had created the Codex Gigas, a monstrous tome bound in human skin and blood, a repository of both the sacred and the profane. Supposedly, the image of Satan within its pages captured the very moment the devil had come to collect Herman's soul, a tribute to the unholy pact that had birthed the manuscript. To this day, the Codex Gigas remains a testament to the frailty of human nature and the darkness that can consume even the holiest of souls. A book that only the man who paid the price fully understood. It stands as a haunting relic, a whispered legend of a monk who sought to escape his fate but found himself eternally entwined with the devil's ink-black embrace. A chilling reminder of the price of ambition and the eternal struggle between light and dark.